Hey everyone, Blaze here. Welcome to the anime pickups video for the second half of April. Yeah, I'm so far behind. I haven't done a pickups video in almost 2 months. I've tried to film this video multiple times and not once I've been happy with it because there's some stuff here I'm really passionate about and I end up going into these reviews and they don't tend to be that eloquent. I just don't seem to be able to get the point across that I wanted to make. So instead of doing that, at some point I'd like to do actual reviews on this channel, so I'm gonna just put them on the back burner in that sense, in terms of like trying to convey necessarily exactly why you should definitely see these films, and just show you what I picked up nice and quickly, hopefully, relatively, anyway, for this channel. Yeah, so the second half of April, I promised was a Discotek haul, so everything here is Discotek. So first up I picked up Animal Treasure Island. This is a 1971 Toei animated film. Miyazaki worked on it. Up here it says key animation by Hayao Miyazaki. I get the impression that occasionally companies, they know how big Miyazaki's name is. You get the impression that if he just walked in on production and had a cup of coffee and a chat, they'd mention it on the front cover because hey, Miyazaki was there when this film was being made. But yeah, pretty sure this is just based on the traditional Treasure Island story. I know Tezuka wrote a Treasure Island story, but I don't think this is an adaptation of that one. But yeah, Animal Treasure Island, haven't watched it yet. This is one of Discotek's earliest releases, in fact. Yeah, DT002. This is their second ever release. So this is from way back in 2006. They licensed like I think it was 3 Toei animated films back in like 2006, as well as a Lupin film they've never put out. And yeah, and then they basically released nothing really other than I think the Fuma Conspiracy until they eventually did Fist of the North Star and then went anime crazy from there on. Anyway, one of the other ones they licensed and released was Taro the Dragon Boy. This is a 1979 Discotek film. Again, I haven't watched this one yet on DVD. This is now out of print. I mean, technically it's been out of print for ages, as has Animal Treasure Island, but you were still able to get it relatively cheap for a while. But now it's gone up in price dramatically. I got it right at the very end. I ended up paying twice as much as what it was like 2 months ago. But yeah, I was able to get a copy, thankfully. But yeah, now you're going to struggle to find this one unless Right Stuff find a big case of them like they did for Puss in Boots, and suddenly the price will drop back down again. But yeah, Taro the Dragon Boy, 1979 fantasy film based on some Japanese ancient folk tale. Yeah, don't particularly have the highest expectations, but I hope it'll be relatively decent. Decided to pick it up, interesting bit of anime history. And obviously a Discotek release, which is cool. Anyway, next up we got something Discotek that isn't Toei. Whatever, it's not Toei animated. This is a Sea Prince and the Fire Child. This is actually a Sanrio animated film. The people that make Hello Kitty, back in like the late 70s and early 80s, they had a film studio that put out these really high quality productions. Like they were using techniques that were very specific to really Hollywood only, really. So yeah, lots of techniques you just didn't see in anime. Lots of really fluid, beautiful animation, and just the Ringing Bell. This is where I pretty much got all this information from. The Ringing Bell DVD that Discotek put out, that was also a Sanrio film, has a commentary by Mike Toole. And he basically talks about a lot of this stuff, where it's like what they were doing back then was very different for the industry, the anime industry. And yeah, they're very Western-looking films as well. Like Ringing Bell had a very cutesy art style that certainly had a Japanese touch, but it was also quite a Western-looking production, in my opinion. And this one too, Sea Prince and the Fire Child, looks kind of very similar to the guy that obviously made stuff like The Secret of Nim. His name's completely escaped me. I've had that happen multiple times while trying to film this freaking pickups video in the past. Keep forgetting the guy's name, but yeah. The guy did that, basically. I feel like the animation, character designs in particular, look very similar to that guy's films. I have watched this one, 2 hours long, kind of overstays its welcome. Like, it's a really beautiful looking film, but the story is really, really simple. There's like nothing really in depth here, and it is literally, yeah, just under 2 hours, 108 minutes. It feels like the story could have been told in about an hour. So yeah, it's overly long, and that kind of really sets it back. But this one is still in print. There's no special features really to mention. It's just a film with a dub. This one does have a dub. I assume it was a dub that was either done for rental video in the early 80s or even, you know, cable TV. It's not a particularly great dub, but certainly not one I would have thought was theatrical or anything. So, yeah, Sea Prince and the Fire Child. Next up, it was a release I was really happy to pick up. This is Wicked City. This is a Yoshiaki Kawajiri film. Probably butchered that, but basically the guy that made like Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which you'll see in a minute, and Ninja Scroll and stuff like that. This is one of his earliest films he did with Madhouse. I think he's been with Madhouse his entire career, and this might be the first one he did. Maybe, I forget. I can't remember, so I won't pretend to do. Anyway, yeah, I've watched this one as well. Really enjoyed it. I know this is kind of one of those ones that in my last video when I mentioned stuff like here's all the creme de la creme and here's the creme de la shit that I also love as well. This would be one that was probably in the latter. Like, I don't think this film's actually shit. A lot of people do. I don't know. Like, I just find its whole dark presentation, the dark story, really appealing. Like, this sort of really overly gothic type designs for some of the characters. It's got demons and it's got lots of sexualized imagery, and it's got stuff that's pretty offensive in that regard as well. Like there's stuff in it that I don't know. Like you don't go in there enjoying that stuff. It's just kind of, I can't really describe it. Trashy, but in a kind of like, I don't know, like tasteless, but kind of. I don't like saying cool because it's not cool, but you kind of get what I mean. Similar to Madball 34, it's just like, although Madball 34, like I said, is kind of just bad, I feel like Wicked City is actually decent. That the story is decent, and yeah, I watched it for the first time when I got it. Obviously, I hadn't seen it before. Really liked it, and I immediately watched it again with the commentary that Mike Toole did. And again, really liked it. I highly recommend this film. Again, I'll like I say, if I ever do reviews, I'll talk about it in more depth. But yeah, it comes with a commentary tray. It also comes with 2 English dubs, both of which I don't think are that good. There's a manga UK dub, which again, I tend to be champion those, but this one wasn't particularly into it. There's a streamlined dub, which is decent and listenable. Like, if you have to watch it in English, that's a fine dub to watch it with. It's not the worst, but it's not the greatest. It's just fine. But yeah, the Japanese is definitely the way to go for me. But yeah, Wicked City. Slipcover is really nice. It is the same underneath. But yeah, I love the fact that Discotek are doing slipcovers for all their releases now. And yeah, I would imagine this is a big improvement. I mean, the features alone on this are a huge improvement over the old Urban Vision DVD. But yeah, I imagine the transfer is probably better as well. So yeah, highly recommended. Something that's a spiritual sequel to Wicked City is Demon City Shinjuku. They're both based on a similar horror author, like they're adaptations of a horror author from Japan. This is another one that Kawajiri worked on for Madhouse. And yeah, spiritual sequel, like it's kind of like not an actual sequel, it's just very similar in tone and story. Didn't like this one as much though. I felt like it was kind of, honestly, boring. I'm just going to put it out there. I don't know, maybe I watched it too soon after Wicked City. I think I watched it just a matter of weeks afterwards, and I don't know, like it just didn't. Wicked City was still so fresh in the mind, and I'd heard this one wasn't as good, so I went into it with low expectations, and it just kind of dragged for me. The main character here is just way less interesting compared to the main character in Wicked City, as is the main female lead as well. The bad guy is kind of cool, but yeah, it's basically I forget the part of Tokyo called Shinjuku. I'll just say that it's basically just completely overwhelmed by demons and such, and it's humans just do not go there anymore. And but one human ends up going there. This girl's father, I think it's her father anyway, to confront the basically the guy that's running the demon city of Shinjuku, and they both go in. He helps her go and find her father, and yeah, you can imagine kind of where it goes from there. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, like it's just it's just not that good. Unfortunately, it's just not that good. I'll just have to admit it. It's just not that good. I'll keep it because I really like Kawajiri's stuff. I've watched a lot of his stuff now, and I really like a lot of it. So I will keep this just for that. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one, especially over Wicked City. Okay, next we've got Lupin the Third, Jigens Gravestone. This is a 2-episode OVA, although I think this one's been cut into a movie, basically taking out like the opening and endings. Like, I'm pretty sure like the OVAs were direct continuations. But yeah, this is a sequel to I have it to hand here. Here we go. To the woman called Fujiko Mine Lupin Fred, if you will, I guess. So yeah, this is in the same style as that. This one's been dubbed by TMS Entertainment and Discotek. Unfortunately, they ended up getting new actors to play Lupin and stuff, and which isn't hardly a new thing in this day and age. But to have yet another character, another voice actor playing Lupin and Jigen and stuff, I was kind of disappointed. I was because I'm pretty sure Discotek did have some sort of influence on the dub, and it would have been nice if they had tried to get someone who had played Lupin before. And just in general, just any of the characters, like try and get someone to come back. Like I love Sunny Straight's performance of Lupin. At least I think it's Sunny Straight. Basically, the guy that did the Lupin voice. If I can get it. Yeah, the guy that did the Lupin voice in the Funimation movies and specials, I think is just fantastic. I'm pretty sure it was Sunny Straight. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But yeah, I think he is brilliant. Also, I think that whole cast was brilliant. Like I think Zenigata, especially from those specials, is also fantastic. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen them come back to do the voices, but unfortunately they weren't. We got entirely new voice actors. I haven't watched this yet. I really need to. I just keep putting it off for some reason. But yeah, Lupin the Third, Jigen's Gravestone. And then we've got a different cover underneath. I don't think there's any significant special features on this. No, just English and Japanese and trailers. I assume the trailers are just for Lupin stuff. Discotek don't tend to put trailers of their other releases on stuff. I might have to check that out actually. I would assume it's just for Lupin, but who knows. That would be cool. I do like trailers. It kind of pisses me off that so few anime companies now do like cut trailers. I feel like Funimation are the only ones that really put any effort into it. Because Sentai just do clean opening and endings for their trailers, which is really dumb. Anyway, 3 things left to go. I'll save those 2 for last. So here we have Samurai Pizza Cats on Blu-ray. I picked this one up as more of a curiosity than anything else. This is a standard definition Blu-ray. So yeah, the reason you would do that is so you can cram as many episodes onto a single disc as possible. Obviously, this has been put out on DVD, this English language cut of the series. Put out on DVD by Discotek. All 52 episodes in a box set. I think it's about 6 or 8 discs, but this is a single disc. And yeah, I kind of wanted to check it out. There's so many advantages to this. For one, the price. I've never seen Samurai Pizza Cats on DVD be less than, I don't know, like 30 quid. Like, for me, like, and I don't know if, I'm sure in America it's probably been about $30 at some point, if not a little bit less occasionally. But this I got for just £15, which, given the currency conversion rate being shit right now, thanks to our stupid country and the stupid referendum. Fuck. But anyway, Samurai Pizza Cats has never been that cheap for me anyway. So yeah, for 15 quid, I was like, not only do I want to check this out just as a curiosity for standard definition on Blu-ray, which is an idea that I've pretty much got right behind, but yeah, I just wanted to check that out, see what that was actually like. And for the price, it was totally worth it. Like 52 episodes for 15 quid is a bargain anyway. Even if it's for a show that I'm not overly interested in, but I don't know, maybe at some point I'll check it out. It's not going to take up much room in the collection, so yeah. But yeah, like I said, this is a technology that I could really get behind. Like I've said it before, but I would love for Naruto. I would have loved for Bleach as well. I just don't think it's going to happen. Like, unfortunately, it seems like most companies like Viz and all that would rather do upscales and put money into that. But I honestly feel like if you could educate people about the benefits of standard definition on Blu-ray, it would be really awesome. Because the idea of having, like, say, the entirety of a Naruto series on, like, 8 Blu-ray discs, and, like, you could have it in, you know, it could basically take up this much space on the shelf. You could have the entirety of Naruto, all 220 episodes and maybe the specials and the movies as well, all on a single box set, maybe in a nice chipboard box or something. It'd be awesome. Like, it'd be great for collectors. And I just spoiled the last two things I'm going to show you. I just realised, but oh well. But yeah, it would be something that's really cool. Unfortunately, though, I must say, watching this, I don't know if it was inherent to the original transfers, because this is the English dub cut, and I imagine that maybe the masters for those weren't as good as maybe the Japanese cut. But yeah, the video quality wasn't overly great, but again, it's just one of those things where I imagine that's probably more or less down to the English masters for this aren't overly great in the first place, and maybe just, putting it on Blu-ray with the highest bitrate possible just emphasises the fact that the video quality on this isn't overly fantastic, even the standard definition. So, but anyway, yeah, so it comes with a slipcover. It's the same on the inside. And yeah, it includes all 52 episodes on one Blu-ray disc. So you could put this in and watch the whole lot without ever moving. But that'd be crazy, because that would be pretty much an entire day. It would take 20 hours to watch all of this. But anyway, but yeah, it's 20 hours of entertainment for 15 quid. It's pretty good. Anyway, as you saw, two of the things I got left one of them was Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I love this film. Holy crap. Yoshiaki Kawajiri film, Madhouse film. Made I think in partnership with Urban Vision, who put out the original OVA, Vampire Hunter D, in America back in the day on DVD, and it was such a huge success for them that they ended up partly bankrolling a sequel with Japan and Madhouse, and I'm pretty sure that ended up actually pretty much bankrupting Urban Vision. But the product that they helped fund, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure partly how this film came about, is absolutely amazing. I loved this film when I watched it back in the day. I hadn't watched it for a number of years, like 5 or 6 years, and I have to say, going back to it now, as my tastes have matured and maybe changed slightly, and I know exactly the things I like in anime, and I just feel like going into this, I wasn't prepared for just how much I was going to love it. I thought I'll like this again. I liked it before, but this time I was just jaw to the floor, gobsmacked by this film. It is an absolute masterpiece. The gothic imagery in it, just the story itself is really good. The atmosphere of this film is just brilliant. The character designs are amazing. The animation is just sublime throughout. This is just an absolute masterful piece of work, and obviously, as a result, I highly recommend it. This Blu-ray, maybe not the greatest Blu-ray in the world, I have to say. I'd seen some comparison shots between the DVD and the Blu-ray, the Blu-ray, and the contrast of some scenes is really different. For example, on the DVD at the beginning, when there's this girl lying down in bed, I'll skip the details in order to not spoil anything, but she's lying down in the bed in a room in the middle of the night, and you can barely see anything on the Blu-ray because of the contrast. It's all it feels like it's blown out, where there's too much white, and also I feel like it might be the too much white thing. I can't actually recall, but all I remember is that in the comparison, you could see way more detail on the DVD. That had just been completely blown out, either by too much black or too much white. I can forget which on the Blu-ray. And just some scenes like that. But for the most part, this looks exponentially better than the DVD throughout. Honestly, so it's really just nitpicking. But yeah, this film, highly recommend it. It is English language only. That is the original language the film was produced in. There is a Japanese dub. Unfortunately, Discotek weren't able to get the license to the Japanese dub, but honestly, I can kind of understand people wanting the Japanese dub, but at the same time, that's like the Japanese wanting the English dub on their release, in this case, because the original is the English language. It was produced by an anime studio in Madhouse, in vast, pretty much everyone who worked on the film was Japanese, except when it came to the voices, which were originally in English, so yeah. Just live with it. I don't know. I think the English dub is perfectly fine as well. I enjoyed the dub. So, yeah. I've got this awesome slipcover, which unfortunately mine got damaged in the freaking post. Just there on the side. It's slightly crushed. It's fine on the other side, so I have to put it like this in the collection. But, yeah. I don't know if you can see it. We can kind of see Dee's silhouette in the background. And then on the inside, we've got the the Urban Vision DVD cover and the back. Unfortunately, there's no real special features on this one of note. There's theatrical trailers, television spots. There is a behind-the-scenes featurette, which is also included on the DVD, but yeah, nothing like a commentary or anything, which again is a shame. Like, Mike Toole knows a lot of stuff about Yoshiaki Kawajiri from The Wicked City. He seemed to really like his stuff, so it's a shame that he didn't get a chance to do a commentary for this one, but anyway. But yeah, I'd say I love this film. Like I said, going back to it, it was like a religious experience. I'd forgotten how great this film was. So yeah, I watched it, and then I think it was like, yeah, less than 24 hours later, I watched it again. I haven't gone back to it since, but I would easily put this in my PS3 right now and watch it again. It is so good. Okay, and the final thing for this video, holy crap, I'm actually going to be able to do this pickups video at last. Kenji Miyazawa's, isn't it? Yeah. Night on the Galactic Railroad. This is based on a short story from back in the 1920s by Kenji Miyazawa, who's basically the grandfather of like modern literature in Japan. Like, he is very important in Japanese modern history. Like, for example, like, everyone learns this story, which has multiple English translations, but it's like Night on the Milky Way and stuff like that as well. But yeah, everyone learns this story in Japanese school. Like, it's just something that's just part of the Japanese education system now. Anyway, yes, it's a very classic story, and this is the 1980s adaptation. It's very similar to Galaxy Express 39 and kind of Fantasia as well. I'll get into that bit in a minute, but it's very similar to Galaxy Express 39, or should I say that Galaxy Express 39's main inspiration was this short story. So yeah, there's a very similar idea of a train travelling through, in this case, the Milky Way, our galaxy, rather than multiple galaxies like Galaxy Express 39. But yeah, so that's basically how it goes. It's a very symbolic journey. I won't go into the details because it kind of spoils the film, but it is a symbolic journey. And on the way, like, the film is like split up into chapters, like very like definitively so, I guess. Like, there will literally be like a scene and then a chapter board, you could say, I guess, like a black screen with the next chapter. Yeah, so it's split up in that way, and each scene or chapter, it's very I say like Fantasia. Like, Fantasia is obviously animation drawn to music. It's not quite like that, but it just reminds me like that, where each scene is kind of very much like this very specific experimental like experience in terms of the animation, or just this very unique scene. Like, things don't really mesh up in a certain way. It just feels like this journey through something really fantastical, and each sequence is very different to the last in atmosphere, and just, yeah, it's just a very magical, fantastical film. I absolutely adore it. I'd watched this before many, many years ago, and I liked it, but I wasn't overly passionate about it, I have to say. That I think my rating for it was just like a 6 out of 10. I was like, that was okay. But now, going to it again as someone who's matured a lot, and not just in life, but also like in anime and stuff, my anime viewing, my taste in anime, and someone who's come to love Leiji Matsumoto stuff, going to this now, it was just, again, damn near a religious experience. I thought it was a fantastic film. I didn't give it the full 10 out of 10. I gave it just a 9 out of 10. I honestly could give it a 10 out of 10 if I wanted to. I feel like I do love it that much, but I held back for now. But again, if I end up watching this multiple times and still enjoying it the same way. Like I say, it is a little bit long. It's an hour and 40 minutes, I believe. No, it's actually it's an hour and 50 minutes, pretty much. So yeah, it's a very long film, and it is very quiet and atmospheric and slow, I guess you could say. But again, it's just an absolutely wonderful film, and something that cannot be overlooked by people. Like, generally, you should go and see this film. It's brilliant. It's one of the best anime films out there, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just a very nice symbolic journey. It does have a commentary track again as well. This one's done by Mike Toole again of Anime News Network. He's just got the perfect voice for it, and he knows all this stuff. It's also got Justin Savakis, who does a lot of the Blu-ray authoring for anime in North America, specifically Discotek. He does DVDs as well. And yeah, he also worked at Central Park Media when this film was originally licensed. So he has a lot to say about that as well. The commentary is really good, but again, film is quite long, so there's a lot of... It's a very quiet commentary, shall I say. Like, there's a lot of moments where they just don't say anything for a bit. And that'd be my only criticism. Not the commentary itself, I don't mind that. It kind of suits the atmosphere of the film and the experience. My only negative for this release overall is that the audio on the English in the background doesn't rise when they're not speaking. So if they don't speak for 30 seconds, you basically sat there with a very quiet film playing in the background, which is kind of unfortunate. But other than that, absolutely superb release. The transfer is beautiful, like grainy, fantastic, beautiful presentation. Highly recommend this film. It's not overly expensive, so if you're into anime films, if you like cats as well. Funny enough, Kenji Miyazawa hated cats. That's one of the things that comes out in the commentary, which I think is quite ironic and hilarious, is that a lot of his stuff has been adapted, and they end up using cats now since this film, and yeah, for some... he hated cats, which I just think is funny. It's just ironic. But again, slip cover is just the same as what was underneath. Then we've got the disc, and that is it. I've finally done this pickups video. Honestly, it's ridiculous. It's taken me 2 months, but I have filmed this multiple times over the last 2 months, and for whatever reason, I end up fucking it up, or just being fed up, or I just lose my voice, and I just get annoyed by it. But I've done it now. That's all that matters. This will be the final version I ever do, and hopefully I'll eventually catch up with my pickups videos soon, as well as hopefully doing some other stuff. I have a tripod now, thanks to Rock Got a Touch. I have a proper tripod, so I'm going to start doing unboxing videos with that, because it would be much easier to do them. There's also Anime Expo next weekend, which is the big expo for announcements in America. I will be doing a predictions video for that. I'll be doing it slightly different to how I did it last year. I think I'll be doing it better than I did it last year. So yeah, I'll be doing a predictions video for that. That'll probably be the next thing on the channel. And then I'll also do a reaction to the actual announcements we get after the expo is finished. So yeah, I'm Blaze. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next time.